Hello. Hello. We are live. Oh, yes, sirree, for the Xander Gibb show. Just waiting for the feeds to fill so that we can get started. Oh, yes, sirree. So come and join us. I'm just going to set up for the live feed. Hello to everybody that's coming in. We're just going to give it a little minute to populate there and set up the page so I can answer you and not make you feel like you're not loved coming in, because I do hate that when there is a live feed going on and the host doesn't even acknowledge your presence, because you guys are important too. You are, oh yes, sirree. I just want to quickly share this live feed to the groups, if it will let me do that while we populate. Do come in. You are welcome. We are going to get started very soon. We are indeed. Here we go. So I got to hit that share button. Click share to a group. You see, I like to involve people in this and share to all of the appropriate groups, avoiding groups that really would not be interested in this this live feed. Oh yes, sirree, we are getting there. Takes such a long time to set up. If you're watching this and you want to share the feed out there, please do so. Hi Lee, welcome. And I'm nearly there sharing this. And when we get a few more people in, we will get started. I have to concentrate, as I said, to make sure I don't share to groups like the keto diet group by mistake, because keto people are not really going to be interested in politics or any of my health groups that I am a member of. Hello to Neil. Welcome. We are going to get started in just a minute when I finish sharing to this group. While you're waiting, hi Joyce, you could click the share button and share to your page so we can get let people know that the show is live. Oh yes, sirree. We are nearly there now. What I need is I need an assistant that will share the show to all of the groups to save me actually doing this and having to waffle while that's going on. There you go. It is done. Welcome to the show. We're going to get started any second. We are going to have some fabulous guests on tonight discussing some very apt and interesting topics. Just while we wait for the feed to fill just a little bit more, what did I want to tell you? I'm going to have a Christmas song coming out, and we're going to share that with you this weekend. You've heard of Adam Schiff. I've written a song set to the tune of a very famous Christmas song, which I won't tell you in case anyone steals the idea, just to highlight the idiocy of this man. So we're gonna go in very, very soon. We're just waiting for a few more people to come join. Click those share buttons now and make sure you let people know. I just got a notification that apparently Xander Gibb is live, so that is good to know. Can you indicate in the feed if you can hear me okay? If there are any problems, please let me know, because we are working with new software and it does take a while to get used to it. I could be talking Japanese right now for all I know, and you could be understanding me, which would be rather concerning. So we're going to go into the show. We're going to roll opening credits in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Well, hello and welcome to the Xander Gibb Show. I am Xander Gibb because, yeah, who else would I be? On tonight's show, we have a lot in store for you. Yes, we are live from an undisclosed location, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting. On today's show, I get on my soapbox just for a change and give you the chance to get on yours in our phone-in. Comedian Stephen Snyder joins us to break down this week's hottest topics, and later political commentator C.V. Burton joins us to make sense of some of this week's craziness. Now, you can have your say in the live feed below, and as usual, I'll be sharing your commentary as we go, so make sure you keep it clean-ish. You can call in when we get to that section. Make a note of the number 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. It is at the top of the page, on the header, on the Xander Gibb page. If you are in the USA, you can call us on that number, or if you're in the UK, you can call me via Skype at Xander Gibb, but only when we get to the point of the phone-in. I will, of course, be back with Joe Messina on the real side tonight, 7 Pacific. You can follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter, because Jack is a scaredy cat who became a millionaire off the back of using your information for his own ends. Oh, yes, sirree, you heard it here, and it is true. Let's take a quick look in the live feed. Yes, I'm quite right, Neil. Epstein did not kill himself. Let me just say that as, again, for clarity, but there's a toss-up whether it was the Clintons or maybe somebody with HRH after their name that has something to hide. But I better be careful what I say, because I'll be being found suicided. Just for the record, you know, I'm very anti-suicide. So if they ever find me suicided or, you know, dead in the room without food, you'll know that it really is not, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Maybe I shouldn't joke about it. So, election fever reigns in the UK, and the candidates pontificate the wondrous promise they guarantee they can achieve if only you choose them. Vote for me and I'll set you free, they say. Now, on the left, we have a Marxist with a socialist tendencies that hates Jews so much he is willing to celebrate the lives of Palestinian terrorists who killed the Israeli Olympians in Munich in 1969. And on the right, we have a conservative who was once the mayor of London. It seems, who seems willing to ensure Brexit gets done if the left will stop trying to block him. Now, he wants to make Britain great again, and it is not afraid to spend some cash to do so. He's been described as Donald Light, which I think is a kind of compliment, and aspires to be him. Now, if you're listening in the UK and don't want the UK to turn into another Marxist-led madhouse, do not, I repeat, do not vote Labour, because they're bad for Britain and they're bad for you. Now, the Dem clowns continue to try and impeach a good president on lies and hearsay out of nothing but hate with zero evidence. When do we get to the point where someone puts a stop to this bug-eyed basket case and his narcissistic zeal for attention on the taxpayers' dime, because remember, you're paying for this, guys. Now be sure, if they do not impeach the Donald this time, they will continue to try. Now the Democrats can't win an election without dishonest tactics, which is indicative of the poor level of policies they have, with weak representatives with nothing to say over and above. Impeach! Don't let these failures increase the chance of another win for the Donald in 2020. Let you rest on your laurels, because this will be a fight still. Now this is a war, and a war, America and Britain for that case too. So put on your armor, people. We have to fight and not hand our countries over to those who would destroy them and who have provably damaged them when they have had the opportunity before and the keys to the city. That was my soapbox. If you want to get on your soapbox, you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. Oh, yes, sirree. It'd be great for some other people to come and get on their soapbox and save my voice a little. Neil says, what if we find you dead in a room with food? Hello to Martha. Welcome to the live feed. And Neil says, can we trade Trump for Pence, please? Absolutely not. That would not work. It would not work. Pence is very good, but I think that we have to save Pence for like 2024. What do you guys think in the live feed? Tell us what you think. Are you happy with Donald Trump's performance? If not, why not? Feel free to say. It's time for Democrat/Liberal Dumbo of the Week. Let's see in the live feed if you can guess who this week's nominees are. It's always such a difficult choice picking who exactly is worthy of this title, because all of the Democrats are worthy of the title. The first nomination, Representative Eric Swalwell for Fartgate. Now, he farted on live TV. And the official line is that what happened was somebody was sliding a mug, like a cup, across the table, and that made that sound. I don't think it was that. What do you think? I really think, you know, he'd had some dodgy curry the night before. He'd probably been at some other senior Democrat's house, and they had a takeaway, and it was affecting his tummy a little. My ass pen ski lodge, it was not a mug. That was suggested by Carla Sammons. And the other nominee we have this week is Shifty the Leaker, Adam Schiff. Just because, you know, my friend Betty's cousins, Cleese's mom's, dog's, groomers, aunt's, nephew's, next door neighbor's brother heard that he's a fool. Those in the know will get that. And that was suggested by Tammy Messina. Tell us in the live feed who you would like to nominate. Would you like to nominate the Representative Eric Swalwell, or would you like to nominate Shifty Schiff? Hi, CV, welcome to the live feed. Martha said, haven't two of Pence's people come out about President Trump? I wonder about Pence. Welcome to chat. It's great to see you. So who's the winner? I think it's a neck and neck with regards to who wins Democratic Dumbo of the Week. So I would like to make an executive decision, because I am an executive, you know, in the producer sense of the word. I would like to declare a draw and say that Representative Eric Swalwell, or however the hell you pronounce his stupid name, and Adam Shifty Schiff, Mr. Bug Eyes, Mr. Serial Killer Face, are both equally culpable. We got time for one call. 845-363-4747. 845-363-47. We got time for one quick call before we bring on our first guest. Will it be you? Are you brave enough to take on the Gibster? I know there's some of you out there that really want to tell me what you think. So call and be nice, because we'll treat you nice too. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Let's see if we get any calls. What else did I want to tell you? I had some great news this week. As some of you know, I've had lots of health problems over the past couple of years. One of them being they found out that I was diabetic. I had bloods done this last week, and I am 1 point away from I've got the wrong teeth in today. From not being diabetic. I'm going into remission. And the result of this is the result of the keto diet that I've been on for 3 months. So in 3 months, my numbers have actually got to the stage. Hi, Carla, we were just talking about you. My numbers have got to the stage where the keto diet is kicking me into remission regarding the diabetes, and I've also lost 42 pounds. And so if I carry on this way, in the next year, I'm going to be, kind of looking a lot better and feeling a lot better. And already, even just from losing that amount of weight, for you British people, that's 3 stones. Because you see, in America, they do everything in pounds. In England, they do everything in stones. So it's good one way for you ladies that want to say, you don't want to say I weigh 140 pounds. You can say I weigh 10 stones, because 10 is less than 14. But anyway, I digress. That was my good news for this week, and I'm going to carry on doing that. And those of you that are thinking about doing the keto diet, obviously check in with your doctor. But it is, for most people with diabetes, I think type 2 diabetes, not type 1, but you'll need to check out with your doctor. It's a real good way of being able to lose some weight. Yeah, that's why your ears were burning. Thanks, Martha. Thanks for everybody that's saying congratulations. Stevie saying I should try the all beef diet, but I know you mean well, but I'm doing okay with what I'm doing. I am looking forward to being self-like. Haha, he says. So I'm going to start to tell you, as no one's going to call, I'm going to start to tell you about our first guest tonight. He's been on the show quite a few times before. He is a comedian, and he is called Stephen D. Schneider, and he's got a very interesting take on things, and he's going to call us any time now, and we are going to take a bit of a sideways. He's saying, can't talk tonight. It's because I need food. No, not really. We're going to take a side swipe at some of the stories that have presented themselves this week in the news. Neil says, what's your weight? Neil, mind your own business. I don't answer personal questions. And thank you. Yes, I will keep it up. It isn't easy, but the first 3 weeks is the worst, because you get this keto fog. You have real kind of odd tummy things going on. And I think it's worth it, though. Apparently, it's very similar to the Atkins diet, which was very popular in the late 90s, early noughties. But I don't know. I never did all of the stuff where they want you to pee on a stick and check your ketones. I just thought, I'm going to go on the diet. I'm going to eat according to what the diet says, and maybe just, see how I can get on with that. And thankfully it agrees with me. And I've never been on a diet like this before where I've actually been able to eat bacon, because it's, high fat, low carb. Because the thing I didn't realize, and I don't know if you guys know this, but all carbs turn to sugar in your bloodstream. And so I didn't know that. So when you're eating pizza and things like that, it's all pure sugar eventually. And I still eat things, I just bought the ingredients to make keto ice cream, which is basically fresh double cream with strawberries mushed up. You put them in a mason jar, shake it all about, and you don't do the hokey pokey or turnaround, but basically you have an ice cream that you can eat. Because when you buy ice cream from the store, it's really processed and not very healthy. I'm sorry to tell you that just got a message from Chet saying that he's in the chat room, but he's still unable to comment because, as you know, the ogres of Facebook have banned him for breathing or using the wrong deodorant or something ridiculous. We do really need to start to band together over this issue because in the run-up to the election, we need our accounts in order to be able to support President Trump. This sounds like my guest, and so I will bring him on. Hello, Pizza Hut. Can I help you?
Xander.
Good afternoon, Stephen. How is the world with you?
Oh my gosh, the world is crazy but awesome.
Absolutely. I think it gets crazier by the minute, and I think that I used to think that America was the craziest, but actually living in the UK for a couple of years, I'm not sure which is which, to be honest.
Oh, in the UK, I mean, you've got people over there that are like giving themselves vasectomies at home to fight climate change.
Wow.
And, generally, just rich, guilty, liberal white people doing it. So you guys got a lot of problems over there.
Wow. I thought we just had to vote for the liberals to get rid of climate change. Was I wrong on that? Because that's the message I'm getting from Greta when she emails me.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. Climates are always changing. I don't want pollution. I want people to recycle.
Right.
I don't want anything bad to happen to animals.
No.
I don't want any litter in the oceans. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, it's rich, guilty, trendy, liberal, elite, white, bi-coastal people that are trying to dictate and determine what we can drive, where we can drive, what we can do, every single aspect of our life.
Exactly. But, the thing is, I totally agree with you. We should be looking after the planet and, saving it for another generation. But don't try and force us to do that by calling it global warming or whatever they're calling it today, because they change it every day. Because, I'm not a weather expert, but as far as I'm concerned, the weather has been cyclical for the whole history of the planet, or we wouldn't have had an ice age. So when these people start telling me that, global warming is real, it was really cold here today. So where's the global warming? Bring it on.
Well, look, they went from saying that we were going to be in a perpetual ice age to global warming.
Yep.
And then when global warming, they realized we were in global cooling. They're like, we have to change this again, Bob. We fucked up.
Yep.
And now we're in climate change.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not global warming now, it's climate change. And if you change your name to Greta, you get a free t-shirt and you get to cry on TV. There you go.
Yeah, she's a little Hitler Youth. I look at her and she is like the Hitler Youth brown shirts from Nazi Germany from the 1930s. I mean, this little demon spawn child is the typical antithesis of vile, vitriolic hatred that this world is trying to get rid of. She is the antithesis of it, and I feel sorry for her because her parents probably brainwashed her too.
Yeah, but I who I heard her father was? I heard her father was George Soros, and that he was a sperm donor, which I kind of believe. I mean, when you look at her, they could be related.
Oh, absolutely. And, the Soros has his big toe stuck in everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's sitting there and he's having random children with random leftist skanks.
Exactly.
I would be surprised.
Exactly. And talking of skanks, that was a great segue. Let's jump into our first topic, because Queen Elizabeth has stripped Prince Andrew. Stripping Prince Andrew was, I wanted to joke about that, but I won't. Of his royal salary and banished him from public life as a punishment for him fraternizing with Jeffrey Epstein and attempting to cover it up in a disastrous BBC interview earlier this week. Now, Randy Andy, as he was called in the 80s, braced for the imminent arrival of a subpoena to give evidence under oath in the U.S. Prince Andrew has been advised to never go to America again, like they would ever really want him, in case he's arrested and sentenced to prison and can never leave. Now, the Duke is expected to lose his £249,000 a year salary. That's about $322,000. Taxpayer-funded salary, and now his future will be limited to smaller private family events. Oh, poor thing. Associated with the toxic prince due to his pedophile connections. Now, what do you make of this? Did you see any of the clips of his interview? And what do you think about the fact that he has no sympathy for the victims of this sex trafficking?
Look, Prince Andrew is guilty. The guy is clearly guilty. I mean, all of these elite, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Soros, the royal family, all of these people have terrible skeletons and demons in their closet. And look, the royal family is trying to go, hey, Prince Andrew, just sit in the corner and shut the fuck up.
Right,
because
right.
You're going to make us all look bad. The royal family, look, they're not even British. Aren't they from Germany or something?
No, yeah, they are.
Aren't they spawn of Nazis?
Yeah, they're called Rothberg or something. They're not really Windsors. They were originally from Germany. But let me ask you this, Stephen. The thing is that I don't think anybody should be kind of not liable to be prosecuted for committing a crime. HRH after your name means nothing to me. So do you think that under any circumstances he would ever be tried and put in prison? Would it be the first time, do you think?
No, look, he ain't going to prison. They're never going to prosecute him, just like they won't prosecute Hillary Clinton over here in the U.S., okay? They're just not, it's not going to happen. Once you reach a certain status and you've broken into the New World Order global elite class, you're protected.
Right.
You're protected.
But should it be that way, though?
So, no, he ain't going to prosecute.
But should it be that way, though? Like the Hollywood elites, I was surprised when that movie guy, that they prosecuted him, and now he's feeling persecuted because he's been prosecuted for these kind of things. The Clintons of being, the rape capital of the world for 40 years, and Hillary covered it up, but they have gotten away with it too. I mean, what does it take to stop this epidemic of ignorance towards crimes of the elite?
Yeah, it's going to take the public waking up and getting out of their trance. It's not right that these guys get away with it. But unfortunately, we got the average male out there. Now, look, I love sports. I love movies. I love TV. I love it all, right?
Right.
But you got the average male out there, the average fan. He's too worried about his fantasy football game or, his favorite team playing football or baseball or basketball than he gives a shit about, saving the earth from these monsters.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the real problem. And then, because he's not a real man at home, now we got his wife and his family. He's not educated them, and they're easily susceptible to manipulation.
Yeah.
Women are very smart creatures. I mean, a lot of times smarter than men, but they're easily persuadable.
You got to say that because you're married, though, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, well, exactly. I mean, look, she still beats me every night.
Good. You probably deserve it.
So, a safe word. Got to have a safe word.
Yeah, what is your safe word? Just as a matter of interest, what is your safe word? What?
My safe word is flamingo, and then I have a backup. My backup is pineapple.
Right. So, but what if you say flamingo pineapple? Does that mean stop now or else?
No, that means thank you, sir. I'd like to have another.
Right.
Both of them. That's just kind of how it goes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, no, Prince Andrew's not going to be prosecuted. It's terrible, but I blame the men. I blame the men in the world.
Yeah, I do too. Because women, very few women commit these kind of atrocities. And I'm not being sexist because, obviously I'm a guy. But I do think that, women are the mothers, women are the ones that bring the children into the world. But the incidences of this kind of pedophilia and sexual assault, it's 95% men, I would say, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and by the way, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. himself. I have to say that.
Yeah.
He didn't kill himself.
Yeah, can we just stop for 1 second just to remind everybody out there that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Actually, on that subject, his body was exhumed and things like that. I thought really that it was the Clintons that maybe killed him, but I think that there's another name in that list now, and it ends in HRH. So it's a toss-up between them or, the royals or the American royals,
Yeah, look, and here's another theory. Maybe Epstein's not dead. Maybe he's alive. They just put him on an island to keep him quiet. But either way, if he's dead, he did not kill himself. He was murdered. I mean, bottom line, the forensic pathologist said that the bones broken in his neck could not have happened via strangulation or via hanging.
Right.
It only happened through blunt force strangulation.
Absolutely. So that must, a clinical response like that, a clinical opinion must mean that they now have to treat this as murder.
No, because the DA in Manhattan is a corrupt crony crook.
Right.
All of the cops are easily fooled, and they can always be bought and paid off. I mean, you give a cop, $20,000 in cash, and he will do whatever he is told.
Yeah.
Same way with these prison guards. I mean, look, prison guards, they make good money, but look, if someone's going to give you a stack of cash for 30 or 40 grand, you're going to turn the other cheek and let somebody just take care of Epstein. Epstein's a piece of trash. He's a piece of garbage. No one's going to miss him.
He is, but shouldn't the right of prosecution have kicked in rather than because let's face it, if he had been prosecuted, that would have been the downfall of not only the Democratic Party, but also half of America. Not half of America, but
yeah. Look, you cut the head off of the snake. Really, is what you got to do. And yeah, Epstein, he had dirt on everybody. I mean, there are a variety of people who probably could have had him killed or did have him killed. But look, you're cutting the head off the snake. I mean, this is typical mafia tactics. We're going to talk. They're going to get whacked. He got whacked.
Right.
And it happened in New York, so of course.
Of course, exactly. So I want to move because we are time bound. I want to move on to our next topic, which really kind of tickled me today, because to the chagrin of the Democrats, the state Supreme Court ruled yesterday that President Trump does not, I repeat, does not need to release his tax returns in order to appear on the California 2020 primary ballot. Who frickin' Ray? Now, the California Supreme Court ruling cannot be appealed. Case closed. We've searched the record to determine whether or not the California legislature even considered the California Constitution in the drafting of SB 27. We didn't find anything. Obviously, this law was aimed at keeping the Donald off the 2020 primary ballot since he refuses publicly to release his tax returns. There are 10 other states with similar bills to California, and the state Supreme Court ruling will no doubt have an effect on these other states' efforts to keep Trump's primary ballots. What do you make of this, and isn't this a victory?
Yeah, it's a victory. Look, it's unconstitutional to keep somebody off the ballot unless they give tax returns. I mean, the radical rabid left, and they're not liberals, they're left, okay?
Right.
They want to destroy this man at any cost, okay? And they still think that the election was stolen from them, and it wasn't. The fact of the matter is the blue-collar workers in those Rust Belt states that voted for Obama also voted for Trump, okay? That's why Trump got elected. And, Russia had nothing to do with it. It was the guy who was laid off because of Obama's terrible, terrible domestic policy.
Right.
He's the one who voted for Trump. So all of these states, all they're trying to do, Xander, all they're trying to do is keep him off the ballot. By hook, line, or crook, they are going to try to do anything they can to prevent this guy from winning a second term.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you say scared? I mean, clearly they have no policies and no clear leadership. Because I got a feeling, one of the things I'm going to discuss later on is the fact that, this week it was requested by Lindsey Graham that that they look into the Ukraine stuff with regards to Joe Biden. I mean, it's all falling apart. But we're all eating popcorn here, waiting patiently for someone to be prosecuted, and all they're doing is attacking the Donald.
Yeah, look, that's all they have. That's all their ammo. Orange man bad, robots. They're NPCs. That's who they, orange man bad, racist, sexist, homophobic.
Yeah.
That's who the left are.
Yeah.
These people are not free-thinking individuals. They
No.
are group-think cult.
Absolutely. Well, even I'm a homophobe. Did you know that? Which I think is absolutely hilarious. How can a gay man be a homophobe? Liberal logic.
Well, I mean, look, anything the left doesn't want, they just throw an is, a phobe,
right,
or an ism at the end
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
So does that...
It's getting ridiculous. I mean, you can't even have, you can't even make fun of someone who's fat anymore. They say that's sizist, or you're a fattest, or
Please.
You're a baldist if you make fun of someone who's bald. I mean, come on.
So are you not allowed to make fun of people who are bald? You see, I want to ask you this as a comedian. Is anything actually off limits? When I do stand-up, I talk about myself quite a lot. But then people say, oh, you shouldn't talk about other fat people or other gay people because it's offensive. But to me, it's gotten to the point in 2019 that as a comedian, it's like we have to be careful about what we joke about. And I find that concerning.
Yeah, I believe what George Carlin says. He says you can joke about anything. It just it depends on the context of your joke and the timing of it. So during September 11th, as people were jumping out of buildings because Muslim terrorists attacked us,
right.
Now that would not be an appropriate time to make some kind of joke.
No,
okay?
Of course not.
I do believe anything can be funny. And just like George Carlin said, he said,
right.
What? Rape can be funny. Picture Porky Pig raping Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
Okay, rape's funny. There you go.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was doing a stand-up gig in a club about 20 years ago, and a guy told an HIV joke in a gay club, and they booed him off the stage. But I thought it was hilarious. But I know that humor is relative, but I think, don't we have to kind of, if we don't laugh at ourselves and laugh at certain situations, doesn't life get a little boring?
Yeah, look, this country, really across the world, people have a stick up their ass.
Right.
No one can be funny. No one can tell a joke. No one can take a joke. No one has humor. Humor is dead. It's dead. And the reason why you can prove that it's dead is no one's going to watch comedies at the movies anymore. And I know why humor's dead. It's because it's the same people in every role, okay? I love Jason Bateman. I love him. But I've seen him in every fucking role. It's the same guy. It's the same role. Same way with Will Ferrell. And I think comedy's dead. People are offended by everything. People are scared of their shadows. They're frightened to speak their opinion.
Right.
And because if it goes against the taboo or the cultural norm, people get in trouble.
Yeah, but I am prepared to push the boundaries, and I've even been told that as a political commentator that's actually a comedian too, that I'm not allowed to be funny when I'm talking about politics. I mean, God, if I can't be funny when I'm talking about politics, I may as well give up the ghost now, right?
Yeah, you might as well just give up now if you can't. And look, there are so many comedians out there that are woke, the woke comedians. And, oh, man, they're ruining comedy too, Xander. So it's not just the crowds. It's a lot of these woke comedians that are destroying comedy. You're not allowed to make fun of Obama, but please make fun of Trump. No, you can make fun of whoever you want.
You can.
The joke's funny.
Yeah, exactly. You can make fun of me, but don't be surprised if I make fun of you right back, because I'm a bitch. We are.
That's right.
We are, but I'm sure you're the same. If people say if people are funny to you, you've got to be 10 times funny back, because that's the law of the comedy jungle. We're out of time, sadly, as usual. I could talk to you forever, but tell people where they can find out more about you, where they can follow you, and where they can buy your product that you have for sale on Amazon.
So currently you can go to StephenDSnyder.com, STEVEND, Snyder, SNYDER.com. On there, you can get news updates. I'm in the process of selling 2 scripts and getting them produced. and I'm also in the process of writing my book. I'm actually done with the book. It's a comedy book, and our podcast will be starting soon. So you will be one of the first people to know, and your audience, Xander, will be one of the first people to know when we launch the podcast.
Brilliant.
It's amazing.
I'm
under a NDA right now to talk about it, but I can tell you it's going to be the funniest stuff out there.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you will come back and tell us more about that. All of Stephen's information, well, not all of it, just some of it, is on the Xander Gibb show page for today. Please give our love to Amanda and your beautiful baby, and we will speak to you again very soon.
Thanks, Xander. Appreciate having me on, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was the fabulous Stephen Schneider. Make sure you check him out. As I said, all of his information is on the Xander Gibb show page for today. Now, my next guest who will be calling in any second is C.V. Burton. He's a political commentator and co-host on Freedom on Deck, and he's going to join us live from my hometown, New York City, to break down some of this week's craziness. I hope he's going to bring some pizza, because New York has the best pizza, as you know. Oh yes, it does. Let's just have a quick look in the live feed. Susan wants to know where he's from. He's from California, as far as I know. Hi to my Gina. Welcome to the show. Hi to Dave. Welcome. This should be my second guest, Mr. C.V. Burton from Freedom on Deck. Welcome to the show, C.V. How is the world with you?
Pretty good. I didn't call too early, did I?
No, you're absolutely perfect timing. I just have to ask, though, did you bring pizza?
No, I brought a calzone.
Calzone,
Hey,
nah.
I'm hearing my own voice coming back.
I don't know why that is. Everything's set up right. Are you using a phone, or what are you using?
I'm using a phone.
Well, the problem is not this end. We check the software before we set it up. If you want to try calling back, maybe it's the connection.
Let me call you right back.
All right.
Maybe Facebook is still open. I don't know.
Okay. So probably that might be the thing. So while CV calls back and checks what's going on his end, let me just tell you that Freedom on Deck goes out Sundays, 3 to 5 on the East Coast. So make sure you check out Freedom on Deck on Sundays with my very good friend Chet Martin, who is the anchor, who is listening now direct from Facebook jail. Make sure you send him a cake with a file in it. And this should be CV calling back. Is that any better, CV?
Sorry about that.
No worries. Did you have your Facebook page open still?
I think so. I think I was hearing it from... Oh, wait a minute. I'm hearing it again. All right, I'm just going to have to deal with it.
Okay. So while... go ahead.
No, ask your questions and
No.
I'll answer.
No problem. No problem. We often have technical difficulties on the show, so don't panic, because we're not panicking. But I'd like to jump right in to the first topic. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was accused of using his high office to advance his personal political interests. He derided the investigation as a witch hunt fueled by fake news. Sounds familiar, guys. And an attempted coup. Now, he counted on his right-wing base, his hand-picked attorney general, and his media to weather the crisis. His indictment of charges on bribery, fraud, and breach of trust marks the culmination of 3 long-running corruption cases. Now, the announcement of the charges coincide with the final day of public impeachment hearings, highlighting the fact that conservatives are under attack, so watch out, guys. Beyond their shared political style, the two leaders, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, have forged a tight alliance. The Donald has sided with Israel on key issues related to the conflicts with Palestinians And Netanyahu has boasted of his close ties to the American president, saying they have brought about unprecedented gains for Israel. Now, Netanyahu is not legally required to resign, but faces heavy pressure to do so. And the indictment could weigh down his party ahead of the new elections. Now, don't you think it's odd, CV, that we're seeing all over the planet the liberals playing from the same playbook, trying to deride their Republican and conservative counterparts by accusing them of the things they've been doing themselves?
Well, what it indicates is that the same supreme leader that is behind the coup in America is also behind the coup in Israel.
Right.
And probably all over the world. The supreme leader that I call Barack O'Jarrett, the supreme leader of the deep state,
Right.
is pulling all the strings. Now, Obama is just the face, but Valerie Jarrett is the brains behind the outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, she is scary, and but I think that there's another member of that group that's kind of like the leader internationally, and that's George Soros, and he's even had a finger in the pie here in the United Kingdom with regards to Brexit and trying to prevent it from going through. And this deep state is deeper than the United States. It's actually global, a global phenomenon. Don't you think it's rather concerning that people are kind of blindsided by this? They don't see it, or if they do, they don't want to admit that it exists?
Well, my take on George Soros is this. I think he is the scapegoat, the straw man, the guy that they want you to think is behind everything.
Right.
Just because he has a few $1 billion. But, you know, the owner of Amazon, the owner of Google, the owner of Facebook and YouTube, they have tens of times millions of that of Soros.
Right.
I mean, Soros is worth like $10 billion, and these other ones are worth like $55 billion each.
Right.
And they fund a lot of this riffraff going around. A lot of the things that are blamed on George Soros, they are actually behind it. They're actually laundering their money through George Soros because he already has a bad name, and they don't want their fingerprints on it because they have high-profile
Right.
positions in the world.
Right. But do you think that a lot of these social media people, like the guy that owns Jack Dorsey, and the guy that owns Facebook and all these other, he owns Instagram and stuff now. Do you think he is actually a liberal, or do you think he's actually being paid to do this? Because I think it's a bit of both.
I think what you're saying is, are the owners of Twitter and Facebook liberals, or are you saying is George Soros a liberal?
No, I'm saying, do you think the social media people are actually truly liberal, or they're doing what they're doing to conservatives because they're being paid to do it?
No, I think they're a cult, like your former guest said. By the way, great guest there.
Right, absolutely.
I'm definitely going to look into his podcast.
Yeah.
No, I think they're all part of the cult. I don't think money is even their objective behind it all. They're making billions of dollars, but they're more interested in control and manipulation than they are making money, in my opinion.
Right, absolutely. The worry is that mud sticks, as we know. But what I think is different in Benjamin Netanyahu's situation than to Donald Trump's. I think America might be coming around now after the second round of attacks with regards to this ridiculous impeachment BS. I think some Americans, even some liberal Americans, are coming around to see the fact that this is nothing more than speculation and attempts to get him out of the picture.
Yeah, isn't it a coincidence that they're both Trump and Netanyahu are being accused of taking bribes?
Yeah.
And in Netanyahu's case, it only involves cigars, champagne and wine. And they say $240,000 worth of gifts that he accepted. Yeah, maybe over the span of the 20 years he's been serving as prime minister.
Right.
I don't think that's a major crime.
Right.
You know, enough
No, I don't.
for him to resign over. And in Donald Trump's case, there's absolutely nothing there.
No.
They just, every country wants something from every other country.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that everybody's blackmailing each other.
No, but
I mean,
hasn't America given too much? I mean, I looked at videos from 15, 20 years ago, you know, like when the Donald was on Oprah. He's not saying anything different now to what he was saying 20 years ago. He was saying back then even that America was being ripped off and paying for everything for America. For America was paying for everything for other countries. So it's kind of nothing new, but I think it's absolutely true. Why should America be footing the bill for other countries' securities? And why should we still be defending other countries for free? And I know there's a humanitarian aspect to this, but ultimately the people that are paying for this are you and I, you know, the American taxpayer.
Yeah. Also, back in July, I don't even think Biden was a real contender yet. He certainly wasn't ahead in the polls as far as running for president in 2020. I think it's Donald Trump's total prerogative to look into what started this Russia collusion scam, and which he had to suffer through. That he did not even deserve. He wasn't even guilty. They didn't find anything. And he should, you know, if he was just an average American citizen, he would have quite the lawsuit.
Right, for sure.
People who put him, his family, his friends, his associates through hell for the last 3 or 4 years. It's ridiculous. And to spy on an American citizen?
Yeah.
And of course he's going to send Giuliani over there.
Of course. But wait.
What is he going to do? Trust the FBI?
Right, oh, please.
The FBI that could spy on him
the first
for 3
thing,
years?
the
You
first,
can trust them?
the first thing that Donald Trump should have done when he entered the White House was actually sweep clean with a new broom and get rid of anybody he didn't trust with allegiance. And even with the FBI too, because I don't mean FBI operatives, but the leadership of the FBI was politicized under Barack Obama, and that doesn't end when a new president comes in. And the thing about the FBI is that they should be basing all of their decisions on what the law is in the United States, not their political leanings. And the concern is for me that will never change with the FBI while the leadership is as it is. I mean, I know some of them have gone, but it needs for a lot more of them to go too in order for it to be a less corrupt organization.
Yeah, and the IG is dragging its feet releasing this report. I hear it's coming out on December 9th or something like that. But now it's going to look like this is retaliation for the impeachment inquiry.
Right.
And they're going to paint it as such. You know, thanks IG, whatever his name is, Horowitz, I forget his name. Yeah, thanks. Now you're making it look like it's just retaliation.
Yeah.
That report should have came out a long ass time ago.
Absolutely, because that's a great segue to our final topic, because Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham requested the documents pertaining to former Vice President Joe Biden regarding Ukrainian officials as a step, and it's been seen as a step as the GOP effort to counter the House ridiculous impeachment investigations of the president. Now, the inquiry by Graham is focused on calls Biden had with Petro Poroshenko, the then Ukrainian president, regarding the firing of the country's top prosecutors, as well as any investigation of Burisma, the Ukrainian national gas company that employed Biden's son Hunter Biden. Now, Graham is thankfully one of Trump's fiercest defenders on Capitol Hill, but where are the other senior Republican voices? I don't know. Maybe they have sore throats. But he said he would not turn the Senate into a circus like Shifty Schiff, I guess, and would instead focus his committee's work on the investigation of the Justice Department's launch of the Russia investigation. Time for the Democrats to be charged with malicious impeachment, methinks. Now, what do you make of all this? Regardless of how it looks, isn't it time that Biden was looked into? Isn't it time all of the senior Democrats were looked into? Why is nobody looking at their bank accounts? Because that would, you got to follow the money, honey,
Yeah. I think John Sullivan released a lot of documents relating to this from J.P. Morgan and other banks showing, I think it's $166,000 a month Burisma was paying this firm that Hunter Biden was involved in. I think it was his own personal firm, actually. And $166,000 a month. Before we were saying $50,000 a month.
Right.
But it's a lot more than that. And the other thing I wanted to point out was how the left have turned everything upside down. Where you had Yovanovitch, however you say that, and Dr. Hill testifying in this impeachment inquiry, saying that the prosecutor that Biden had fired, he was the one who was corrupt.
Right.
Biden was trying to weed out corruption by getting a corrupt prosecutor fired. Meanwhile, as if Burisma was a shining example of honesty and integrity in the business world.
Exactly.
And then
I was just going to say, was that not more to cover his own butt?
Right. And then the question is, what policy did the Ukraine influence in Barack Obama's administration? Well, that's easy to see. Barack Obama was totally against gas production in America.
Right.
And becoming energy independent.
Right.
And fracking and all that. He was totally against all of that. And that helps Burisma because Burisma was in the natural gas business.
Well, why do you think...
see that right away.
Why do you think Barack Obama was against that? Do you think that there were inducements to make him against that, or do you think he was actually against that happening?
Because Burisma was paying off the presidency and the vice
Exactly.
president. They were taking bribes.
Exactly.
They were enriching themselves. They didn't care about the American people.
I wonder
Barack
when...
Obama was...
Go ahead.
Barack Obama was into the way he saw America. He wanted to manage its decline.
Yeah, of course.
Like a managed decline.
Yeah,
That's how he approached his job as president.
The whole 8 years of the administration was about destroying America. If he wasn't, giving money to Iran, he was doing other things that kind of were detrimental to the United States. And if he wasn't doing things that were detrimental, he was ignoring the safety concerns of Americans. I mean, look at Senator Chris Stevens, and his colleagues that were left, to be dragged dead through the streets because they just didn't care. Hillary was probably too busy covering up for Bill. And I'm disgusted by that.
Yeah, that same mob that dragged Gaddafi through the streets, ripped his clothes off, electrocuted him, set him on fire, raped him, and tortured him to death, that same exact mob was responsible for doing the same exact treatment to Christopher Stevens. It was almost like payback time. Yeah. It was like, okay, we took Gaddafi, thank you for that. We'll give you Chris Stevens in exchange.
Wow. I just think that Americans need to see justice done about all of these things, because it just seems so unfair that there is no culpability for all of these things. And there is evidence regarding these things. You know, a liberal said to me a couple of years ago, "Oh, the reason that happened with Chris Stevens is because the Republicans cut the budget." And you know, I wanted to punch his face in for saying that, because they have excuse. They excuse everything that the liberals do, and that's of concern to me. You know, because if that had been Donald Trump that had ignored American citizens, I would be saying exactly the same about him as I'm saying about these, I won't swear, these people that did this to Chris Stevens and his colleagues. So the left is so different to the right. We're happy to call out our own when they do wrong, but the left defends them like their life depended on it, and that's of concern to me.
Yeah, the CIA operatives, who I think were probably conservative patriots, fighting for their country, wanted to save Christopher Stevens and the other men. And they couldn't, and they were told to stand down 3 times.
Right.
And we had the means, we had the power, we could have stopped it, but they were told to stand down. And I think Christopher Stevens was murdered because he knew too much.
Yeah.
But getting back to Lindsey Graham, I was disappointed in him because he said he was going to investigate these Pfizer abuse situation and look into that, and he was going to call witnesses. He did absolutely nothing. But then I started realizing, all right, I guess because he knew the IG report was imminent,
right,
it was coming out soon, so maybe he was just waiting a little bit. Now he seems like he's acting, because now he sees that it's coming down the pike, the IG report.
Yeah, I think
Trump says is going to be historic. I was suicidal waiting for it. Every week they were supposed to release it, and they were like, well, we're delaying it. We're going to delay it another week. We're going to delay it. I was going to throw myself off a bridge. I was like, really?
Exactly. We have been on tenterhooks to receive that because, like I said, we need closure. We need justice, and it's not been happening. But, you know, hopefully we might get an early Christmas present. Wouldn't that be good? We are out of time, unfortunately, CV. Tell us about Sunday's show. Who are your guests? And tell people where they can listen to the show.
Chad knows who the guests are. I do not, because he books the guests.
Right.
You were great. You were great last week, and we had a good time. We're going to have a great time. Brian Brewer has been back the last couple of weeks. That's good because he's been missing for a couple of months. And join us. It's fun. We get a little bit loud. We get a little crazy, and we have a few laughs at the same time. So it's a fun show.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for
FreedomOnDeck.com.
Yeah, that's absolutely all. Sundays 3 till 5 Eastern time if you're on the East Coast, and check out all the details on the Xander Gibb show page for today. But for now, thank you so much, CV, and we will speak to you again very soon.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was CV Burton, one of the co-hosts from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check him out. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to CV, and thanks to Steven Snyder. Again, all of his information is on the XRED show page for this week. On next week's show, it's like ladies' night. We have 4 guests next week. We have the inimitable Australian actress Maggie Kirkpatrick from Prisoner Cell Block H. We have Tammy Messina, the producer from The Real Side. We have Andrea Kay from The Andrea Kay Show. And we have Susan Miller, Miss Roving Reporter, with a new segment she's bringing to us on the Xander Gibb Show, which is called The Miller Report. Oh, yes, sirree. So make sure you put that in your diary. Now, had your fill of the Gibb, so you can catch me on The Real Side later, 7 Pacific, 9 Central, and 10 Eastern, and 3 a.m. in the UK if you're up that late. But if you're not, you'll be able to catch it the day after. So grab a cup of tea and stick around. That's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next Friday, 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Make sure you share the show before you go. And stay safe and warm out there, because I really do love you all. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. Thanks for sticking with us. And we we'll see you next week for Ladies' Night. Oh, yes, siree. I won't start singing because I'll never stop, but I'll just say one more thing before I go. All of me loves all of you. And I mean that. Thank you so much for sticking with me. See you next time on the Xander Gibb Show. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and here I don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, siree.